The moment they realized it was the twins, they started to laugh and make nasty remarks. Oh, it is the living dead and her twin sister. Why can't she just remain in her father's compound instead of parading herself and polluting the air? Hmm, 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 hmm. They held their nose as they passed. I hope you are not going to the village stream to pollute the water. How dare you speak to my sister like that? Are you mad? Once upon a time, in the village of Omunta, on a cool afternoon of Nkwo Day, a set of twin baby girls were born. Akachi had seen so many babies in her lifetime, but not one as beautiful as her daughters. She wished that Dingba was alive to see his beautiful daughters. Her late husband Dingba was the popular palm wine tapper in Omunta. There was not a wedding, burial, party or festival that he was not contracted to supply palm wine. His palm wine had made him very popular in Omunta and the villages beyond. Dingba had died instantly after his fall from the tree where he had climbed to tap wine. Akachi was a trader. She sold fruits at the village market. She had been able to make a living from her small business after her husband died. Akachi took care of her beautiful baby girls, Ijeoma and Ifeoma. She was not very rich, but she was able to afford quality items for her girls. Every time she took them along to the market, the women would admire the babies. She had no trouble with help at the market because the women would take turns in feeding and cleaning them. Some of the women at the market had jokingly said that they had married Ifeoma and Ijeoma for their sons in the future. So they would call her Akachi, my in-law. Everything was fine until one fateful day, 2 days after the twins turned one. Akachi woke up in the morning to get her twins ready for the day. She noticed some rashes on baby Ijeoma's neck. She looked at it closely and decided that it was nothing serious. Just heat rash. It was the beginning of March, the start of the rainy season, but the rains weren't serious yet. So the weather was very hot. She made up her mind to buy a good dusting powder once she gets to the market. That day at the market, Akachi found a good powder and applied it on baby Ijeoma. At first, the powder seemed to help because baby Ijeoma did not react. She was happy and relaxed and went on playing. Towards the evening, however, Mama Chidi, who had been with the girls, noticed that baby Ijeoma had become restless and was scratching her neck vigorously as she cried. She took a look at the baby's neck and realized that the little rash she had seen in the morning had spread from her neck onto her chest and her back. Apart from that, the rash was now looking like boils with pus inside. She called Akachi's attention. Akachi, on seeing her daughter's body, was terrified. What could have happened to her baby? Was it the powder she applied to her body? But the other women said it wasn't. Everyone knows that Mama Nkechi sells original products. The women took turns in checking the powder and they confirmed that it was original. On seeing how uncomfortable baby Ijeoma was, the market women advised Akachi to apply Nzu to her body, that it will help in calming the irritation. The women rallied round and found Nzu. They quickly crushed it, mixed it with water, and applied it on baby Ijeoma. The Nzu solution seemed to work because baby Ijeoma stopped crying and slept off. The market women also advised Akachi to squeeze some nchangu in water and give to the baby to drink so that whatever it was could be treated from the inside. Akachi accepted the advice and bought some nchangu from the market that day before going home. The Nzu and nchangu solution seemed to work because after using both solutions for 3 days, the rash stopped spreading and started healing. By the 6th day, the rash and boils had healed completely, and only the scars and dryness were the evidence of what the baby had suffered. Akachi did not mind. She was certain that her daughter's skin would heal perfectly later on. Everything was fine. Everything went on well until the twins reached puberty and the rash resurfaced. This time, it spread through her entire body, on her head, her face, her neck, chest, back, hands and legs. It was so bad that sitting or lying down was very uncomfortable for Ijeoma. Akachi had tried the Nzu and Nchangu remedy again, but it did not work. She took her daughter to the village herbalist, who gave her several concoctions to drink and apply to her body, but all of these failed to work. Some of the villagers recommended some herbalists from neighboring villages. Akachi took her daughter and went along. She was willing to do anything to alleviate the suffering her daughter Ijeoma was going through. But none of the concoctions that were given seemed to work. Meanwhile, Ifeoma had no problems, just the usual changes that goes on during puberty. She had very beautiful hair, skin and face, and was growing into a very beautiful young lady. Ijeoma, on the other hand, had lost all her hair due to her sickness. Her skin and general appearance had become unpleasant. She had patches all over her body, and most of the rash were filled with pus. Even the slightest layer of clothing was uncomfortable for her. Akachi was doing her best to help her daughter, but nothing seemed to be working. She was spending a lot of money, mostly the money for her business. Soon, she could not even afford to buy goods on credit anymore because she was not meeting up with payments. Ijeoma's condition went on for years. By this time, she had developed a terrible smell because of the sores on her body. People started to avoid her. No one wanted to come to their house anymore. By the time the girls turned 18, Akachi had given up hope that her daughter will get better. Meanwhile, Ifeoma had grown into a very beautiful young lady. At 18, she started attracting suitors. About 10 young eligible men in the village had asked for her hand in marriage, but as soon as their parents and kinsmen learnt that it was Akachi's daughter, they would reject the idea and discourage the young man. Akachi felt bad for her daughter, Ifeoma. She tried always to console her daughter by telling her that the man meant for her will marry her no matter what. Ifeoma was not happy with what was happening to her, but she could not compare it to what her sister was going through. She witnessed her pain and discomfort daily and wished there was something she could do to help her sister. Ijeoma never steps out of her father's compound for fear of how people would react. She tried it one time and had a very unpleasant experience. That cool evening, Ifeoma had said she wanted to go for a swim at the stream. Ijeoma had said she wanted to accompany her. It was getting dark and a lot of people would have gone back to their houses. Besides, she needed the exercise, being that she hasn't been anywhere recently. As they walked to the stream, they saw three maidens, Adaobi, Nkechi and Anya, walking towards them. The moment they realized it was the twins, they started to laugh and make nasty remarks. As Ijeoma and Ifeoma got closer, they could hear their conversation. "Oh, it is the living dead and her twin sister," said Anya as the girls laughed out loud. "Why can't she just remain in her father's compound instead of parading herself and polluting the air?" Adaobi said. Hmm, 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 hmm. They held their nose as they passed. Then the third maiden said, "I hope you are not going to the village stream to pollute the water." Ijeoma and Ifeoma said nothing. They continued on their way. "Ozu Morangu, I am talking to you." Before Ijeoma could stop her sister from moving, Ifeoma's hands were already on Nkechi's face in two dirty slaps. "How dare you speak to my sister like that? Are you mad?" The other two maidens made an attempt to attack Ifeoma, but as Ijeoma came closer to rescue her sister, the girls retreated for fear of coming in contact with Ijeoma's body. The three young ladies grumbled away, promising to get back at Ifeoma. "Ifeoma, you can't go on fighting everyone that insults me." "I will, and I can. No one should speak to you in that manner. It is just not fair." Ifeoma could not understand how her sister can be so calm and forgiving in her situation. With everything going wrong in her body, she still had the ability to crack jokes, smile, and love. You can't spend 10 minutes with her and not laugh. Ifeoma prayed every day that someday she would find someone who loves and adores her. One cool evening, Ifeoma was heading into the bush, not too far from her house, to get some herbs for Ijeoma to bathe with, as ordinary water irritates her body a lot. She met someone, a stranger by the look of his dressing. He seemed lost. "Good day," he said. "Please, how do I find my way back to the palace?" Ifeoma pointed him to a direction and said, "You are not from these parts. Are you related to the king?" "No, I'm not. I'm a visitor. We came to spend some time with the princess and her family. The wedding will be coming up soon." "Oh," Ifeoma said. He was very handsome, she thought, and by the look of his dressing, rich too. The young man noticed she was shy and said, "Thank you." "You're welcome," replied Ifeoma, "and congratulations on your soon-to-be marriage," as she walked away. "Oh, no, 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 I'm not the one getting married. It is my twin brother." "Your twin brother? Really?" Ifeoma said. "I'm also a twin." "Really? Oh, pardon my manners. My name is Chika." "I am Ifeoma." Chika extended his right hand for a shake. Ifeoma accepted and they both shook hands. "A beautiful name for a beautiful lady," he said. Ifeoma smiled. "So what are you looking for in the bush?" "I'm going to get some herbs for my sister." "Is she a herbalist?" he asked. "No, she isn't," replied Ifeoma. "She bathes with it. It helps to calm her skin." "What's wrong with her skin?" "I can't tell that to a total stranger," Ifeoma said with a smile. "I understand. Thanks for pointing me to the right direction," he said, and left. Ifeoma stood for a while and watched him leave. He was so handsome, she thought. "I wish that someday I and Ijeoma will find someone that cares deeply for us," she said out aloud. Until then, she will remain unmarried till her sister finds someone. Ifeoma had told her mother, Akachi, that she wasn't interested in marriage anymore. She said she was going to remain single until her elder sister Ijeoma finds someone. Her mother and Ijeoma had rejected the idea and advised her to find her path in life. After all the rejections she's had, two men had actually made it to introduction and were serious about settling with her. But Ifeoma had turned them down. Akachi had promised not to force her daughter into marriage, but remained adamant about her advice. Meanwhile, at the palace, Chika could not stop talking about Ifeoma and how beautiful she was. He was speaking with his twin brother Chikwe when the princess overheard them. "Which Ifeoma are you talking about?" she asked. "Is it Akachi's daughter?" "I don't know her mother's name," replied Chika. "But she said she was going to get some herbs for her sister to birth with." Oh, that is Ifeoma, Akachi's daughter. Their father, Mazi Dimba, was well known for his palm wine. "Wait a minute," said Chikwe. "Are you talking about Dimba, the popular palm wine tapper?" The princess nodded. "Did you know him?" "He was a very good friend of my uncle. He would travel miles and miles just to bring my uncle and father the best of his wine. It was such a pity what happened to him." "So Ifeoma and her sister are his daughters?" "Yes," said the princess. "And you cannot go closer to Ifeoma or Ijeoma, her sister." "Why not?" replied Chika. "Because Ijeoma suffers from a terrible sickness that has disfigured her whole body. No one associates with them in this community. She's practically a walking dead anyway, just waiting for death to finally claim her." "Princess," Chikwe said in anger, "how can you speak of a human being in that manner? Don't you have sympathy for people who are not as fortunate as you?" "I do not care," replied the princess. "And don't you dare go close to Ifeoma again, or I will report this to my father." She walked away. Chika looked sad. He really liked Ifeoma and wanted to see her again. Chikwe saw how sad his brother was and said to him, "Do you want to see Ifeoma again?" Chika nodded. "Then we shall see him again," he said, and Chika's face lit up in a smile. Chika and Chikwe went back to the spot where Chika had first met Ifeoma. They asked whoever they met for directions to Akachi's house, but as soon as her name was said, the person would say, "Tofia Akwa." Tofia Akwa. Chukwe Kwekwana, and walk away. Finally, someone reluctantly pointed them to the right direction. They walked into what seemed like an empty compound. There they heard sounds of laughter coming from behind the house. They followed the sound and found Ifeoma and her sister in a tent. Ifeoma was in shock as soon as she recognized Chika. What are you doing here? I mean, how did you find my house?" Ifeoma asked. "We asked around," said Chika. "I'm so sorry to show up uninvited, but I really wanted to see you again. This is my brother Chikwe." "Nice to meet you, Ifeoma," said Chikwe. "Hello, Ijeoma." The brothers didn't seem like they were being bothered by a foul smell. Either they were good at pretending or they needed a new organ for their sense of smell. Nevertheless, they enjoyed themselves as Ijeoma kept cracking them up. When it was time to leave, Chikwe said, "Pardon me for asking, but what happened to your body? How did it start?" Ijeoma smiled and said, "It first came out as a rash when I was a year old. My mother treated it, or so she thought. Then when we turned 12, it started again and could not be controlled. We have tried everything and been to so many herbalists. I have accepted my faith. Come with us to Nkulu. My uncle is a very powerful herbalist. He is well known for his treatments in my place. I'm sure he can help you. We have tried everything and been to so many places. This one won't be different. But thanks for trying anyway." "What if I bring him here? Would you at least let him try?" Ijeoma looked at him and smiled, and then said, "Why not?" The following week, Chikwe and his twin brother brought their uncle, Mazi Udoji. He took a look at Ijeoma's body and ordered for some herbs. Akachi managed to put her money together and bought some of them, and then the others she got from a nearby bush. Mazi Udoji prepared the herbs. He administered some to Ijeoma and instructed Akachi and Ijeoma on how to administer the herbs. Akachi thanked him and offered him some money. He refused and said he was doing it as a favor. Akachi then offered to prepare them a meal. They accepted. After eating, they returned to Nkulu. The outcome of the treatment was amazing. First, the itching stopped, the smell stopped, and the sores started to dry off. The scales and patches started to come off. Akachi and her daughters were amazed at the speedy recovery. By the end of 2 weeks, the sores had completely healed and the scales and patches were almost all gone. Ijeoma could not believe that the day would come when she wouldn't have to hide away or cover herself if she must go out, or pass through a crowd and not pollute the air. She was grateful and didn't know how to repay Chikwe and his brother for helping a total stranger without asking for anything in return. By the end of 1 month, her skin had healed completely. Only the scars on her body were the evidence of what her skin had been through. Back in Nkulu, Chikwe expressed his desire to call off the wedding to the princess of Omonta. His father trusted his decision and blessed his son. Over the period of 4 months, Chika and Chikwe courted Ifeoma and Ijeoma. Their wedding was talked about throughout the land. Ijeoma's transformation shocked everyone in the community. Some of the villagers apologized for mistreating her. Some of Akachi's friends, who abandoned her, tried to be friendly with her again. Chika and Chikwe invited Akachi to relocate to Nkulu with her daughters. She gladly accepted and left Umunta for Nkulu with her daughters. Moral lesson: be nice to strangers. You never know where your blessing or your help would come from. Be kind and compassionate to those who are suffering one misfortune or another. You never know what they are feeling until you have been in their shoes. Thank you so much for listening to my story today. Please give this video a like. It helps our channel to grow. And share this video with your family or your friends and loved ones who you think will enjoy it as well. Bye-bye.